What's going on, guys, and welcome back to F123 for My Team Career Mode Season 3, round number 12, the Singapore Grand Prix. Back in Singapore once again. We had an interesting race here last time, so let's see what this one has in store. We're going to change the sponsor. We've actually got rid of the neon sponsor because it was like qualifying P4, but it seemed to be a bit glitched out. Even if I didn't qualify P4, it would still give me the money, so I've decided to not cheat too much and, change that one. I can't remember what exactly it was we changed it to, but I think it was like get so many points in a weekend or something, so we'll see how that goes. Putting a few upgrades on the car as well, an aerodynamic upgrade and a durability upgrade. The aero upgrade I tried to rush through to Singapore, but unfortunately it failed, so that's not going to come through until I think Japan. This is the R&D, still very close at the top. We are actually still just about leading the way, but as you can see, Mercedes, McLaren and Ferrari all right there with us. Red Bull still a little bit behind, but they seem to have very good pace, and Aston Martin still a bit further back than that. And yeah, everybody else at the bottom of the field just not upgrading at all, seemingly. I don't know why, but they're just not upgrading at all. So I seem to find this with the F1 games, the bottom teams tend to just plateau. Like, they're definitely not at their maximum upgrade. Surely not. They're way behind everyone else. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully next season with the regulation change they will kind of catch back up again, but we'll have to wait and see. Q1 here, as you can see, car felt really good here in Singapore, but there was one thing that I didn't factor in, and that was the setup. You may remember last time out in Season 2 when we raced, I said the setup wasn't really great, we had too much drag, because it was basically a setup for the old Singapore track. Well, I didn't change the setup going into this one. We made it through to Q2 quite well, actually. No real surprises out. I mean, Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, probably the main one, but Alpines aren't very quick at the moment. But yeah, I said last time out we were going to change the setup for this time, but I didn't. I stayed with the same setup. So, although I don't really notice it in qualifying here, when we get to the race, I notice the drag and the lack of straight line speed. So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Thankfully, it wasn't the end of the world, but yeah, for next time, I've made a little note. We may not be running Singapore next season. We'll have to see how we go, but we probably will run it before, F124 comes out. So yeah, really need to look into a new setup, because this is pretty much, I think I've got like 50 front wing and it's like 48 or 49 rear wing, so it's almost max downforce, and this is a much quicker track now with this version of the layout. We only just make it through to Q3, actually P10, not quite as quick as I was hoping. Alonso though also only there in P8, so our car, despite being quickest on R&D, with us, yes, the setup's not great, but even Alonso doesn't seem to have an amazing amount of pace considering where the car is on paper, so maybe the car just isn't loving it here. Alonso's been a little bit off the pace the last couple of races, actually. So we make it through turn 1, a little bit sideways through that first corner there. Hopefully didn't lose too much time there, but definitely could have got that a bit better. Just a bit too eager on the power and got the car a little wayward out of turn, I guess that's turn 3, I guess technically, isn't it? As we head around the next part of the lap, and this bit here, I can really hook the car up. Definitely feeling the car is better this time around. The last time out in, was it Monza, the last race? Car felt pretty good as well. Car has been quite understeery for the first half of this season, but it seems to be coming to a little bit now. In these last couple of races, the car feels like it's got a bit better turn in. It might just be the setup and everything, I don't know. Like I said, this is a very high downforce setup, pretty much the max downforce, which now that this track is a lot more open up, of course, we head around this right-hander here, and the new version of Singapore, which we have raced both times here in F123, you have this much longer, quicker part of the track, so you don't need as much downforce. You don't have the really technical final sector that you used to. So I do think that, despite I get my setups from YouTubers and they seem to all say, oh well, you just keep the same setup, I do think that we need to go at less downforce for this track. Qualifying ended, Charles Leclerc put it on pole, so good for him in the Ferrari. Hamilton, is that Hamilton in second? Yes, it is. So a good qualifying from him, and then the two McLarens, the two Red Bulls, Sonoda. We have out-qualified Alonso, P8 and P9, so yeah, not terrible. I don't know, Alonso just not feeling that great at the moment, but that's where we start for this race.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. Here's the track, and it's all changed for 2023 with 4 corners removed between turns 16 and 19. It means the lap length is now just over 3 miles, and that might come as a welcome relief to the drivers, or especially their brakes. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Davies, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Iwasa, De Vries, Hamilton, Albon, Joe, Doohan, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Sargent, Magnussen, Stroll, and Liam Lawson. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Alright, so Hamilton has taken a grid penalty. From starting second, he now starts 12th on the grid. That is big for the championship leader, but we get underway. We're promoted to P7. It's a good start for us. It's a pretty bad start for Oscar Piastri there. From third on the grid, Verstappen's had a good one, got up to fourth. We're fighting Tsunoda as we head into turn 1, but just about managed to get up ahead of him, and that has been a very good start for us and Verstappen. We followed the Dutchman through. He's had a bit of a resurgence of form in the last couple of races, a couple of podiums, or at least one podium, definitely, in, when was it? It was Spain, wasn't it? I don't know if he may have got another podium since then, but he's running very well, and he's running in a podium spot at the moment, P3, as Lando Norris looks like he got the jump on Leclerc at the start. We go a bit too deep into that corner. Tsunoda has a look, but we've managed to stay ahead, and we're just going to try and stick with these guys. But this is where I'm really starting to notice now the issues with our straight line speed. We really cannot keep with these guys down the straights, through the corners. We're doing pretty well. It's difficult in these first couple of laps because the AI really go for it on like the first and the last lap, but we're looking pretty good through the corners. But we get onto this straight here, no DRS at the moment. We boost our ERS as much as we can, but we just don't really have the speed. We notice it a bit more later on, but yeah, just trying to stick with these guys for now. It has been a good start for us. You can see that gap already though between myself and Verstappen. The Red Bulls looking quick despite not being quite in that top group with the top 4 teams. They're just a little bit behind, but they do seem to have very good pace. Verstappen in 4th, Sainz a little bit further back. He had a better qualifying than Verstappen, but did not have a very good start and has fallen back. This was Fernando Alonso, who started alongside us, but had a terrible start. He just could not get the car going. This is, of course, the previous race winner of the Singapore Grand Prix in Season 2. He won his first race of this My Team Career Mode here last year, but this time he's not had a very good start, and he's fallen down, I think, outside of the points at the start of this race, so not very good from him. A driver trying to make his way through though is Lewis Hamilton. After getting that grid penalty, I assume he's changed one of his engine components. He's now trying to get past the Williams of Alexander Albon, but Albon is putting up a good fight. Alonso just behind these guys as well, trying to get back through. Albon has managed to stay ahead at this point in time, but now they come to this back straight. DRS not enabled yet. We're only on lap 2, but Hamilton in the Mercedes is very quick and very determined to get this move done and, you know, limit the damage after this grid penalty. And it looks like he has now gotten ahead of Albon and up another position. So that's Hamilton making his way forward. Alonso would now be the next one to make a move on Albon. Albon goes a little bit defensive, only just gives Alonso only just enough room around the outside there. They're going to go side by side, but Alonso is going to get the move done through the first couple of corners. So that's now him up another position. We continue on lap number 4. We have considerably lost touch with the top three. Norris, Leclerc and Verstappen kind of going off in the top three there, and we're having to defend a little bit from Tsunoda behind, who's very quick in that Ferrari. And this is where the issues are coming. Through the corners, we're pretty good. We're pretty good through the corners, but yeah, we just do not have the straight line speed. And this is where I was going, god damn it, I should have changed my my setup. That's the word I'm looking for. Should have changed my setup. Here's the front of the grid. It is Lando Norris leading the way. He got the jump on Leclerc right at the start of the race, and this is a track where track position is everything. Not quite as much so maybe as the previous version of the track, but still a very tight, twisty track, and yeah, Norris looking to take a win here, which would be his first win of this season. As behind me, Yuki Tsunoda, he was hounding us down, but has now had an engine failure on lap number 8, and that is previous race winner of the the Monza Italian Grand Prix last time out, is out of this Singapore Grand Prix. Very unfortunate for him, as De Vries very nearly makes contact with Ayumu Iwasa as they head off the back straight here, and De Vries up another position, and he's actually ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton at the moment, who is now also going to try and make a move on Iwasa. Same sort of thing there, tries to go to the inside but then has to duck to the outside because Iwasa just pushes him into the wall, doesn't give him any room, and Hamilton though is past Iwasa. Iwasa also started on the soft tyres, one of only I think 2 drivers to start on the softs, as there's an issue with Logan Sargent, who has a spin coming into the tricky section here. Spins the car around, one of the Alpines manages to get past him, and now he's caused a bit of a roadblock right now with Haas's AlphaTauris. I think he's just made a little bit of contact reversing into an Alfa Romeo. This is what happened on board, just a bit too much power on this left-hander, spun the car around, then oh, that is the Alpine of Esteban Ocon, who so nearly made contact. That could have been a disaster for Ocon. Oh, there may have been contact there, I'm not actually sure, but that was ridiculously close. Very nearly could have been a safety car. It ended up not being a safety car though. So things resume. Alonso now trying to make his way past Iwasa, who's just falling down the order on those soft compound tyres. Lap number 10 now, and Alonso is past, and I think he's just on the fringes or maybe just into the top 10. We continue on, still not really being able to make gains on Verstappen and the cars ahead. However, with Tsunoda retiring, that put Piastri out of DRS range of us, and we have managed to pull away from Piastri. And now that he's not in DRS, we are actually pulling away from him a little bit each lap, just a tenth or two each lap. So looks like we're pretty comfortable at the moment in P4. This is the battle ahead though. Norris looks like he's got a little bit of a gap at the lead here. Leclerc was pulling away from Verstappen, but in the last few stages of this first stint, Verstappen's reeled Leclerc back in again, so he's now within DRS of the Monaco driver who is fighting for the championship here. Verstappen pretty much out of this championship. He's a bit too far back, I think, to really fight. As we come into the pits on lap 13, we're actually coming in 2 laps earlier than we were supposed to onto the hard compound tyres, but you know, if we were coming in on lap 13, we'd only be doing 1 more lap on the hards. We know that generally the hards seem better for me, and you know what, they can last longer than 1 extra lap, so I'm deciding to go early. As we come out of the pit, we've got is that Jack Doohan in the Haas around the outside there. We're going to try and stay ahead of him as we now come down this corner here. He hasn't come into the pit yet, of course, and we do manage to stay ahead of the Haas driver. But yeah, basically I wanted to come in a couple laps earlier because one, the hards should definitely make it to the end, and also I wanted to try and see if I could get an undercut on the cars ahead. So let's see how that works, as we're now going for a move on Alexander Albon with DRS enabled round the outside, keep it within track limits, and we're now up into P10, but a lot of cars ahead of us not pitted yet. And sure enough, lap 15, when we were going to pit originally, that is when the cars ahead of us have come in. We're past the cars that we were already in front of, but there's Verstappen, there's Leclerc on the left as well. We're going to be very close with Charles as we come out of there, and he comes out of the pits, but we have done that, and we're up into a net P2 ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. We've made the undercut work. Now we just have to see if we can if we can keep them behind, if we can defend the position, because it is all about track position at this track. But lap number 18 now, Leclerc's already coming for a move on us. He's trying to go round the outside into turn 1. He has better grip, slightly newer hard compound tyres, of course, slightly fresher. So we managed to just about defend that time around, but 2 laps or 1 lap later, he's going to come for a move once again. Same thing. I think this time we might actually be a little bit closer, as once again we head into turn 1. We're just going to once again just squeeze him out of room, keep it clean there, and we do just about give him enough room, but we're just going to squeeze him out and yeah, keep that position and see if we can round out a P2 finish here, which would be amazing after our car not having particularly great pace, and also, you know, the setup not really being right. George Russell has managed to get past Piastri in the pits, so he now runs an effective P5 in the Aston Martin, which doesn't look like a particularly quick car at the moment compared to the top kind of 5 teams, but he is hanging on for a good position right there. Iwasa in the other Aston Martin on a different strategy to pretty much everybody else. He's now on the mediums, everybody else on the hards, but he just doesn't have the pace on those tyres. Hamilton already trying to go for a move. I guess Iwasa maybe got an undercut back on these guys thanks to coming in earlier off the soft compound tyres. So Hamilton and Alonso both have to re-overtake the Japanese driver at Aston Martin, making it difficult for Hamilton though. But Hamilton's going to go get squeezed into the wall, but he just about manages to keep that one out of the wall, and he's going to go round the outside of Iwasa, and that is Hamilton back up ahead. And sure enough, only a lap or so later, Alonso is going to pretty much do the same thing to the inside this time. Alonso is going to go into turn 1. Iwasa's going to fight it. They're going to be side by side through these first couple of corners right now, but I'm not sure what the status is here. They're still side by side actually, as they now go down into this right-hander and on to this long straight. I'm not sure who's picked up the DRS here. It looks like it might be Iwasa. No, I think it is Alonso actually. So he's managed to stay ahead. So now Alonso has gotten ahead of Iwasa, and now see if he can chase down Hamilton. We continue on here in second place. We're just going to check where our teammate is, so I wasn't sure. He's like 19.9 seconds behind us. So Alonso really struggling in some big battles as well. Just doesn't seem to have the pace. He's been a little bit off these last kind of 3 races or so. He really has kind of dipped in pace a little bit, and we've, you know, had a bit better luck in the car and also been feeling a bit better in the car. So things evening out between the pairing of myself and Alonso. This battle here, just a bit behind us, still carrying on. Russell ahead of Piastri. Carlos Sainz now has managed to catch up to this train as well, so it's kind of a 3-car train here for P5. But yeah, this is such a difficult track to overtake on that nothing's really happening. Piastri will be very annoyed that he's fallen to 6th after starting 3rd and then being 5th and being overtaken by Russell in the pits. But yeah, it is what it is for Piastri. As we continue on the final lap, we've actually got lapped traffic ahead of us now, so Sargent gets out of our way. He's running in dead last, P21. As we did have a retirement of Yuki Tsunoda earlier on, we got past Bottas as well, and as we head around the final corner here, Lando Norris is going to go ahead to win the Singapore Grand Prix. He wins the first race, he wins his first race of this season, and we're going to come home for a damn good P2 finish. It's our best finish of this season. We've already had, it's our 3rd podium, but our other 2 podiums were both P3s, so it's 2nd place for us. A very good drive, worked on the strategy, we got the undercut done.
It's never easy to make it across the finish line here in Singapore, but they've done so with some style here today to take a remarkable victory. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I feel consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium.
There we have it. Lando Norris wins the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a great win for him and McLaren, their first of this season. We come home for P2, our best finish of the season as well. And Charles Leclerc does manage to get on the podium in P3, but he'll be kicking himself after getting pole position, getting overtaken by Lando right at the start, and then allowing us to do the undercut on him. very unfortunate for Leclerc, but he does outscore his team. He does outscore his teammate because he DNF'd, of course. But he outscores his rival in the championship, Lewis Hamilton, as well, who only managed P9 in the end. So a poor race for Hamilton after that grid penalty. Did not make the moves up that he would have been hoping for. Verstappen came home 4th. It was Piastri. It was Russell 5th, Piastri 6th. Who is that? That is Carlos Sainz 7th. Then you've got De Vries beating his teammate there in 8th. Very good result from him. Fernando Alonso ended up 10th, so he does score 1 point, but a very poor race for him when we were up there in 2nd, just making more of the car and feeling good in the car despite not having the straight line speed. And things have changed around in the championship here as well. We have actually swapped positions with Alonso. We are now P6, Alonso's P8, so we're now ahead of our teammate in the Drivers' Championship. At the top, the lead has come down to, I think, about 29 points between Hamilton and Leclerc, so that is getting very close as well. Norris also overtaken Tsunoda for P3 and Piastri down to P5, so it's all still very close in that kind of second place battle, but Leclerc is slowly coming for Hamilton at the end of this season, and nothing changes in the Constructors' Championship either. However, it is a good race for McLaren. They actually get a little bit closer to Ferrari at the top. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.